I'm going to let you get started because we're getting more and more people on, and they didn't sign on to hear me. They signed on to hear about SEL programs and what we need to know as counselors about teaching them. Because for a lot of us, especially the counselors that have been around a while, no one taught us this in graduate school. So we really need to know how to go in and how to reach these children in the small window that we have them. So I'll turn this over to you, Dr. Silbert, and I really appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Yeah, I'm the original SEL person back in the 1960s. When I started teaching, I started saying these children need emotional and social support. They need that just as much as the academic. And so that's when it all began. So our entire company is based on SEL. I want to welcome everybody. And today, I only have 45 minutes. I'm going to kind of go aerobically here. Two basic things I'm going to be discussing. The need for a K through 5 SEL program. As I said, I've been doing this forever. And secondly, tips on teaching K through 5. As Cindy just said, because I have a master's degree also in school counseling and my PhD, no one ever mentioned K through 5. It was always middle school and high school. So it's essential for K through 5. So let's just begin here. I'm first going to just say thank you to all the counselors that showed up, that are here. I appreciate that you've been here, that you're coming here and you're taking out the time to do this. It's a lot of work. Let me tell you, my husband and I both retired teachers, counselors. It's a lot of work. Let's move on. Why am I here today? Well, first of all, Cindy invited me and I said yes. So here I am. Just so you know who I am, I have a PhD in educational counseling and administration. My company and my entire career is based on SEL, and I created a research-based, very easy to use and inexpensive SEL program for K through 5 a while ago because it's so needed. And I did follow CASEL. So, by the way, the word is CASEL because I remember doing this at the beginning. We didn't know if it was CASEL, CASEL, whatever the name was. The name I did find out officially. We say CASEL. Okay, the next thing. Today, what we're going to do, we're going to begin with the need for a SEL program for K through 5, tips on teaching a SEL program, things I can share with you. And then I'm just going to share my own program with you. And at the end, you can download 12 lessons. I'll tell you where to go and how to download it. So you can finish out the year for K through 5. Let's begin the need for a SEL program. Surveys have been published by CASEL. Of course, they're the ones doing it by CASEL that say SEL is essential. Now, of course, they're the ones running this. So that's why they're saying it's essential. But the research has shown that it's essential. And then I'm going to add my 2 cents in a few minutes. What is CASEL? A lot of you may be asking that as I keep mentioning it. CASEL began in 1994. Okay, it's an acronym for Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. It's a multidisciplinary network that includes research, keep going either side of my camera here, educators, practitioners, so forth, all across the country. And they're the ones that put the CASEL program together. Then most of the programs that are coming out now, publishing, are following their recommendation. And what they're saying is they've done research and on their own programs. They did a huge amount of research. And results from 213 different studies they found, it showed that 27% of the students that went through a CASEL program, a social emotional program, their actual academic performance went up 27%. And it also showed that they went up 24% in social behavior and in lowering levels of distress. If you think about it, you would want it to be at least 50%. And so you would question, why is that happening? Why isn't it 50%? Why is it like a quarter of the population improving? I did my own research. As I said, I've been working on this whole program since the 1960s. I literally did my doctoral research on the antecedents of self-esteem in children. How do they get high self-esteem? And others, as adults, who walk around with low self-esteem. What happened to those children that they're walking around with this feeling of self-worth? I found two things when I did my own research. First of all, a child who is emotionally and socially healthy will be better able to succeed in school and in life. Okay, the second thing I found out, because I actually did my actual research on a whole program I did back in 1980s, and it had to do, at that time, self-esteem was the big word. The California task force came out with self-esteem can't exist without responsibility to oneself, one's family, one's environment, one's community. So there was a lot going on there about self-esteem. But what I found out, and just doing my own program and studying all the programs that were out there at the time, the teacher, and you're going to be the teachers, you're the counselors, the teachers, the counselors are more important, and perhaps as important as the program, but I would say more important. That's the research that I came up with than the actual program. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. Okay, my findings about self-esteem. So here you're going to be working with child to help improve their social and emotional well-being. Self-esteem is what we all think, oh, I'm really good at art. Oh, I really feel great when I do this and this and this. But self-esteem is basically how children and adults, how they perceive their significant others perceive them. Think about it, about yourself. Your significant others now could be your spouses, could be your children, some parents still, who you work with, the principal, the superintendent. Who are your important significant others right now? You can walk into a room right now and you feel great because you know everyone in that room thinks you're great. They think you're terrific. Your self-esteem is going to be high. But if you walk into a room where you think everyone has on black shoes and you're wearing brown, and you look around and you think, who do they think they are? Oh my God, I'm not wearing the right thing. Your self-esteem is going to plummet. If you have a good base, a good foundation that began between 5 and 6 and 7, actually at birth, your feeling of self-worth you'll be okay. You're not going to be damaged. It's the people that don't have this foundation, and that's why it's so critical to have this social and emotional learning taking place in the elementary schools. The teachers need to create an environment conducive to learning. Without realizing it, the children's most important significant others are mom, number 1 universally, 2's dad, 3 teachers, without realizing it. What teachers say and do affect how children think about themselves. They'll work for a teacher. There's been research on this, who they think that teacher thinks I'm wonderful. They're going to work for that teacher. The second thing I'm going to talk about, that's why we need, because as I said, I only have 45 minutes. We absolutely need a SEL program in the schools for K through 5. 2 things. Keep it simple. You don't have to spend tens of thousands and thousands of dollars and go through all this training. Keep it simple. Number 1, follow Castle. They did all the research for us. They came up with self-awareness. Child has to know who they are. Self-management. They have to be able to control their impulses, their emotions. Social awareness, so that they're sitting in school going, who is that in class? I don't like that person. Relationship skills. They know they have to learn that you can't be rude. You have to be kind. They keep saying, choose your words, kind words. Responsible decision-making. Critical. You make the wrong decisions, you end up with a problem. Number 2, the second tip. So number 1, follow a Castle program. And number 2, the only way to learn social and emotional skills is to discuss and practice those skills in real time. with age-appropriate social situations of which classrooms are a microcosm for it. It's perfect. It's a perfect place. Okay, now, number 3 that I'm going to talk about is my own program, because I'm going to use that as a model. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to do anything. It's not an infomercial. This is the program I like, the program I would choose because of just doing this for this many years. I kept it very, very simple. I was a teacher. I was a counselor. I was a principal of a small school. Teachers and counselors, you are overwhelmed. And keep it simple because you're working with children and they need the simplicity. They cannot be just so overstimulated by colors and pictures and computers, and we don't use any computers. And I'll go through and explain this to you. Our SEL in a Nutshell program, we follow the CASTLE categories, every single bit of it. We follow strong categories. Very quickly, name of our company is Strong Learning. We do all the tutoring, K through 12, our SATs, all this stuff, ACTs, but you have to have, as Cindy said at the beginning, I work with the heart and the mind. You have to work with that whole child emotionally and socially. My whole book, Why Bad Grades Happen to Good Kids, is telling parents most of these problems in school are based on emotional or social problems. Okay, so our categories I came up with after all my research was self-esteem, trust, responsibility, options, decision-making again, needs, and goals. Now, learn method is, we've been here for so long that we realize how children learn. And it's basically following a level, engagement, and I'm going to go into this in a second, actually right now, because I'm going to teach this even, role model. I'm going to model how to actually, when you're in the classroom, what you need to do. There's our learn method. This is a methods course in a nutshell. L, you see it says L-E-A-R-N. L, find the level of the children. You can't begin with a child and you're here and the child's here. Okay, I always say you can't give a baby steak if they don't have teeth. They're going to cry, they're going to choke, it's going to be a problem. You have to begin at the level of the child. Next, the E stands for engage, and that's engage the child emotionally so that they're part of that classroom situation. Activate, that's your lesson. And we're going to go over lessons today, and I'm going to literally give you 12 lessons to take home, 2 per grade level. That's activate, those are your lessons. R is the rehearse, practice, practice, practice. Okay, and then N, there has to be a neural change to see if learning takes place. How are you going to know if there's learning taking place? You can't give them a test, but you will know watching the child and how they behave in the class. Hey, let's go level. How do you get the level when you're going into a kindergarten class, a 3rd grade class? Before teaching anything, you have to find the level. So easy, it's easy in math and reading. You give them a test and you find out the level. Is there testing for social and emotional? Yes. It's costly and very time consuming. It's just hard to do. Keep it simple because you're going to do pretty well following something with simplicity. Find what we did was we just divided the children up into grade levels because bullet 1, children's emotional and social development follow certain stages. Even though they don't go through the same stage at the same time, they absolutely follow certain stages. They'll be a little different because look at bullet 2. Each child's DNA, home environment, or personality will influence where they are in moving from stage to stage. Bullet 3, important because this is the age group you're teaching. During the years between 5 and 8 is when self-concept and identity first develops. And those children who are struggling with reading and struggling with things, the emotional piece is going to be a problem because they're looking at everybody else and they're trying to develop who I am. I'm tall, I'm short, I'm fat, I'm thin, I'm poor, I'm rich. These things they have seen, whatever you develop around those ages, usually stay with you during your life. Okay, And so you're going to be working with these children with a social emotional program. Critical that you understand that age group. For example, if you're working with the kindergartners, they're going to appear to be cheating. Did you ever work with a 5 or 6 year old and you're playing a game and they go, okay, so here's what we're going to do next. Okay, I'm going to go next. I have 14 turns and then you'll go. And you're sitting and go, you're cheating. They don't know what you're talking about. Remember who you're talking. It's like the baby doesn't have the teeth. They're not there. The brain hasn't developed. They're still in pre-operational. I'm very big with Piaget because they have proven Piaget's theory when they did all the brain scans and all, it validated everything. So they make up their own rules. But when they suddenly become 7, 8, around that age, all of a sudden they're into concrete stage of development and rules rule. They're going to announce, you're cheating. I was first. He went first last time. I'm supposed to go first. They're going to make sure you follow rules. So once you get into that next stage, into that next grade level, your lessons have to change. Okay. E, engage. Remember I talked about engaging. The goal of SEL programs are to help children become socially and emotionally healthy. But it's you, the teacher, the counselor, that first has to create that environment conducive to learning. And your whole classroom environment is what's going to be doing it, not that 1 week hour lesson or half-hour lesson. I'll never forget, I don't know if anyone here is from Somers, but I did my doctoral dissertation. I did my, actually going into the school and working with everybody to test it all out. It was over in Primrose School. And I'll never forget, I was walking into a first grade class and the teacher shouted, I could hear as I'm opening the door, everyone put away your math book and pay attention, the self-esteem lady's here. And she's yelling and the kids are busy. And there was one little boy sitting who was so busy with his math. Who knows today, maybe a mathematician, maybe he's doing all these experiments somewhere. This poor little thing was sitting there. He didn't hear a word she said. And she walked right in front of him and yelling, didn't you hear what I said? Put away your math book. The self-esteem lady's here. That's exactly the opposite of what has to happen here. It's the class environment, and you're going to create that. Okay, when you're in that room, how did you do that? You ask the children, and they're going to go, I don't know. I always ask them, and they go, I don't know what I did. I'm proud to be your teacher. I always knew you could do it. These little things make someone feel so good. Think back. Just take a second, because that's all we have. Think back. Did teacher ever compliment you? Did teacher ever sarcastic or insult you, even embarrass you? Those things don't go away. You're all sitting there and you're going, yeah, I can tell you right now, it doesn't leave. So now we got through engage, activate, lessons. These are your lessons. Now I put the A and the R, the rehearse. The rehearse is your practicing, because they go together. Difference between activate, the responsibility for activate is on you. It's on the teacher. It's how you speak. It's the lesson you put together, your tone of voice, your actions, the multisensory activities, your dynamic storytelling. Well, you get the point what I'm talking about. The rehearse is on the child. I've never been with a child that says, I got to go home and study for a few hours. I got to practice this. They're not going to do it. Create the lessons, and that's what we did within our program, SEL in a Nutshell. The practicing is right there, right within the lessons. Okay, let's go to SEL in a Nutshell. And you're going to be, as I said, sample lessons when you leave. Just go to our website and you can download them. They're yours. I'll give you all that before we leave. Okay, what we did was we put together a whole program that you will be downloading. If you're using this, it's 240 downloadable lessons, okay? And the teacher's guide is attached to the lesson. So you don't have to start looking for the teacher's guide or looking it up in an index or downloading it. Every lesson, when you download it, the teacher's guide is attached. One very short little lesson to teach. Our program is made up of nothing on the computer. You cannot do social emotional learning by sitting by yourself at a computer. I know that it's colorful, it's beautiful, whatever it is. The whole thing has to do with what the research has shown, stories. Children learn through the stories. They learn about cultures, their struggles, thoughts, feelings, and they can empathize with the characters socially and emotionally. Children learn by being in plays, big, being in plays. This provides them to think quickly, to cope with anxiety of just being up there, like on a stage or in front of the room. And then they also walk in someone else's shoes when they're another character. By playing purposeful, not just games, playing purposeful games. By playing games with others, children learn sportsmanship, patience, waiting their turn, skills of dealing with disappointment, practice needed interpersonal skills, making good choices. The games are critical. Discussions, class discussions, small group and large group. Children learn how to communicate. Risk-free writing. Children react to different things, to situations, to stories. You'll see that here without worrying about spelling and getting a grade on it. Drawings for the children who would like to express themselves non-verbally. All those little ones who can't write yet. And children are coming into the school, ESL kids. Children love to draw. Coloring is, and it was funny, Cindy and I had a whole conversation about this. It helps people relax. So during the day to just stop and all those pages, those 240 pages, the children can just stop and color. Group activities, working in little groups, large in a class, it helps with learning how to cooperate, knowing how to achieve the goals the group is working for, or how to maybe modify those goals a little bit. So this is what our program, the benefits of using a program like this. And here are the lessons. Keep it simple. Here's a sample of one of the lessons. My family and me. This is, now you see it says right on there, and this will be on everything you download. It'll say the name of the lesson, the grade level immediately. Then it's going to give the CASEL category. This is self-awareness. The type of activity. Is it a game? Is it a play? This one is seat work plus a group activity. And what is the topic dealing with? Identity, self-awareness, identity. It seems so simple, drawing the family, but to a 5-year-old, this is our first lesson in the book for the 5-year-olds. The 5-year-old is first learning who they are. My mommy's name is this, my daddy's name is this. They don't realize who is grandma, who's grandpa, who are these people? That's mommy's sister. Okay, just like I have a baby sister. And then they share it with their class. If a child doesn't want to share, that's fine, absolutely fine. They will, because it's very important. You say it's fine, you don't have to share. But you're such a good listener, and they're starting to learn to listen. Okay, the next one, and the second one we're giving is a self-management. Putting away things, grade K also. This is a very big deal for that age group. I know our own little granddaughter, her big deal was this week, she's the door holder, but she can't wait to vacuum the carpet. That was her thrill, and that was her job. So these are important things, and they get an award. Do you notice they're next to each other? When you download the lesson, the teacher's guide, that lesson is right there. You have the lesson right on the page, exactly what to do, even follow-up lessons, which you'll see we recommend. This would be a good bulletin board. This would be good to bring in a speaker. Let's look at this one. This is a play. Put on a play. This one has to do with self-management. And this one, even though it's a play, and it talks about Tiger, who's the character in this play, everyone in our whole program follows the same family. And she wants a gold cup, and the only way you can win is to learn ping pong. This is on grade 1. The children may start reading with you, they may not. Many of them do not learn to read till end of first grade, middle of first grade. All of our writing, everything we have in our books, I happen to be one of the therapists for dyslexia. So everything you get here is going to be following Orton Gillingham. It's an approach on how to teach reading, and especially if the children have a reading problem. So it's everything you're going to have here. It'll, because the children learn to read, are going to learn no matter what. The ones struggling. And so now anyone you're working with, any level, they're all going to be following Orton Gillingham methodology, the whole approach. Okay, you see, it gives you the lesson. It tells you exactly what to do, importance of listening. And then the children, we tell you when the dog barks, the class barks, they go, and when the teacher tells them, I'm going to point to you, and I point to Marshmallow, who's the frog in the story, you all say ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And then I'm going to point, and we're going to do ping pong. I did this once where I had one side of the class do ping and the other side did pong. And so they have to really listen, but it's helping the little 5-year-olds. And now this is 6, the little 6-year-olds, same thing, to listen. And that's critical. And that's dealing with self-management. Okay, here we have another first grade. First grade is where children are starting. Kindergarten, remember, it's about themselves, their families. Now by first grade, you're going into the neighborhood. Who lives around you? There's the fire station, the police station. And this is another little lesson. There's your lesson plan for your teacher. Is social awareness, seat work, and group discussion. And sometimes the group, when it says group, it's a game. I Spy, and I give you directions how to play I Spy so the whole class can play. Charades. We have a lot of, or I'm thinking of. And they can get up in front of the class and take turns. Okay, again, first grade level, self-management. The other was self-awareness. This is self-management. If you notice, kindergarten and first grade, the majority of our lessons deal with self-awareness and self-management. The children cognitively are not up to working at higher levels. They don't understand the social. They don't understand the relationships all the time. Stay with self-awareness and self-management for these little ones. And we give them here, this is a actual, it's story. The teacher reads the story to the class about Tommy, who he's one of the characters in the family, but he wants everyone to go on a bike ride now. And they say, well, I can't go now. I've got to, but I want to go now. And so that's perfect for the children to say, well, what do you do when you want to do something right now? Count to 10, exercise, and then you have your page right there to go to. Second grade. Okay, if you're going into a second, they're now going from pre-operational, they're moving, and by second grade, most of them are into concrete. They're starting to move along. During first grade is when they're moving from pre-operational to concrete. You're going to have a mixture. 7 years old, most of them are concrete. You may realize there's a few of them still working a little bit of pretend, but that means developmentally, they're a little bit behind. Okay, by second, so we go into jobs and careers, just becoming now into social awareness. What do? People go to work. Here's your lesson. You can even ask someone to come in, and someone you know who works, who builds buildings, and they can come in and tell the jobs they do, to share this with the class. Another second, how I help someone, caring, relationships. Okay, now you see, we went to social awareness, now relationships. In your programs, whatever you're using, do you see, I hope I'm making it clear. It's so hard because I always don't teach anyone more than 3, 4, or 5 things at a time. And then I had to put this together in 45 minutes. So I know if you have any questions, by the way, always call me. Cindy will give you my email, my phone number. Just call me and I can help you.
So just to interrupt 1 second, Dr. Silver,
Sure.
I did have a question that's kind of been haunting me since I've started doing SEL with elementaries. How long should lessons be? Because I used to try and keep a bunch of kindergartners entertained for like 45 minutes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. They're going to be rolling around on their little mats. Okay. Follow your class. And I'd say 15 minutes. And you can do 2 lessons. You may do 2 separate things, but keep it 15 minutes, another 15 minutes, doing something else. They have, and some can't even sit for 15 minutes. My husband always laughs. He thought his name was Alvin Sit Down. He thought his last name was Sit Down. He didn't realize in kindergarten, first grade, he couldn't sit there. He didn't know. So kindergartners, they can't sit too long. The poor little first graders, they expect them to sit long, but they really can't. It's just in the middle of everything, stop and just say, let's all do jumping jacks. Let's everybody hop on one foot. Just get them moving a little bit. Okay, and that actually, I have all that in the lessons. You're going to see as you read a lot of the lessons, it says now stop in between and do this and this.
Okay.
Going by the grades. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good question. Okay, so now let's go through, I'm just going to go through quickly here. Grade 3, you see what we have, you understand how to find it. There are everything you have to do. That's grade 3. I wish there was a law that said. Okay, Tiger 2's in the Purple Turtles. This is about bullying, the bullies. I did research in Somers that time on this particular story. And I said to the kindergartners, first, second graders, did Tiger have to go into the cave? Did they make him go in? Did he have options? Could he have made a better choice? Kindergarten and first grade, very interesting. 100%. No, he had to go in. They made him. He had to. Second grade, they all went, no, he could have run away. He didn't have to do that, you know. Very interesting. And remember the age you're teaching. Okay, so this is a play with all the different activities. Here's fourth grade, best friends. Fourth grade, you're starting in third also, very busy with friendships and best friends. I'm your best friend. No, I'm your best friend. In like one of the questions we have, if you look under lesson recommendations, for example, if a bully kept bothering you, what would a best friend do? Okay, if you did poorly on your math test and you were upset, what would a best friend do? If you fell and hurt yourself during recess, and the children can discuss it, and it's amazing how much they all love to tell what happened to them. And okay, yeah, my husband just reminded me. I don't know if you noticed all the pages. Everything here we did not put in color. Simple, easy to look at, and they can sit in color if they would like. Now we go up to fourth grade. We now get into social awareness, foods from around the world. This is a fun one. I saw one of the teachers actually doing this. And they invited, this is where you invite the parents in, and they can bring in dishes that represent their culture. It was not every child's going to eat, trust me. They're all going to eat the pizza. Okay, so foods from around the world, the food, the country of origin. So let them start thinking it's outside of the United States. Oh, there's a world out there. Have a globe ready. Where to buy the food today? Can you buy it? Then we have fifth grade. Where do you see yourself in 10 years, in 20 years? Picture yourself in those years. Now they're starting to think about the future. They're now 10 years old. They're starting to think a little more, but they still remember concrete. They're going to think for today. When the parents come to me and they're threatening the kid, you don't do better in your SATs, you'll be flipping hamburgers at McDonald's. Even at that age, they're still in concrete. They didn't go to formal operational yet. They can see for today. Okay, good, being a good listener. Now we go back to listening again, like on a fifth grade level, what it is being a good listener. Okay, this is Tiger's being a good listener because he's listening to someone else's problem. It's not, see, we began with them just sitting and listening to someone telling a story. Now it's actually listening to someone else. Okay, games. If you remember our list of benefits, games. When you buy our program, besides the 240 lessons you're going to download, you're also going to get in the mail, sent to you, UPS or somehow. I'm going to just show you, there's kindergarten and first grade. I don't know if you can see it. Kindergarten and first grade gets a 6-pack. So you have, your class can divide up into groups of 4s and 5s. And little kindergartners can't hold the cards well yet. So we recommend exactly which games to play. There's over 10 different games you can play with each deck. So once they learn how to play Go Fish, or they learn how to play the bingo, or they learn how to play Lotto, they can play it over and over again, no matter what deck they pick up. But you get 6 different decks. it is so important because this is real life learning, having patience. The next group of children get first, now we have second and third graders. We have in there, again, all about understanding their environment, understanding where they live, telling time, dogs, cats, fun idioms. Kids that age love idioms, and they'll tell all the funny ones they know. Okay, learning about money. You set up, this is a game just about money. Fabulous way for that age to start learning. Okay, and then we have the fourth and fifth, we get into the states, their capitals, world landmarks. Oh, there's another world out there where other people live. So we mentioned different world landmarks. A measurement. Okay, starting to learn about measurement. Communication, we begin with smoke signals. We end up with texting. And then it talks about inventors and inventions for them to start to think about the future. Okay, and in every deck, every six-pack, one of the games it's the social and emotional words that children will be learning all throughout the program. And we have all that over and over and over again. Okay, now, let me see. So here we have, again, let me just say it very quickly again. Children learn by playing games. They learn patience. They learn sportsmanship. They gain confidence. They can laugh with a friend or someone sitting there, especially if they're playing at home and mommy or grandma or grandpa are messing up. I've done this for now 40 years or more. They jump up to help them. They feel for them, and they're all on the same level. They're not the child with the grown-up. They're all the same level. And they learn how to plan. They learn how to strategize, evaluate. Children's interpersonal skills develop. Okay, development of these skills. Video games have their place, but they cannot replace playing card and board games, especially when you're promoting social and emotional health. Our program and any program you're using, make sure it involves parents. Critical. Biggest problem is, as I said, I've been a principal of a small school. They don't show up. I've tried having courses for them. They don't, one signs up. So what I did in this program, you will have another thing that you will, if you get it, that's up to you. You can download. It's called Parent Program. You will be getting 40 parent tips on social and emotional development for the child their age. If it's a second grade class, you'll have them for second graders. And it's all written. You just have to send them every week to the parents. So they will learn developmentally where the child is. They'll get a feeling what's happening. Poor parents really don't know. We don't know. And then we also have, as part of the parent program, invitations. You just have to fill in the date and the day and the time. And you can invite them to a game time to play the card games, play bingo. Maybe you're putting on a play. Have them come in. And if they can't make it, it'll discuss this in the parent program. So many parents are working. They have babies at home. It's so hard. They can send the grandma, the grandpa, the aunt, the uncle, anybody to represent them. And if there is a child left during a parent program or something where the parents are there, always have that child be with someone else's family, or they'll be with you. But create a little family for them that day so they're not alone. The extra bonus of our program, which I don't know about the others, is number one, there's a brief overview of child development following Piaget, Maslow, and others at the beginning of every grade level. You will get it when you download the actual lessons, those 240 lessons. There's going to be a brief overview of where the child is developmentally. Secondly, reading on all grade levels follow Orton-Gillingham approach. And Fry's most frequently used sight words and the Dolch sight word list by grade level. I'm aware of this because I work with these children who are struggling. Okay, all activities follow Bloom's taxonomy and Maslow's stages of development to encourage higher order thinking skills as well as addressing basic needs. We keep forgetting about the basic because the schools keep pushing higher order thinking. They can't do higher order thinking until That baby has teeth and can actually chew the steak. Okay, now the N in learn, neural change. If learning takes place, there'll be neural change. How do we know? With reading, history, science, we literally give them a test. I don't know if there's actually neural change in a lot of those Friday tests or those whatever tests they take, because it still could be short-term memory. 2 weeks later, they could forget it. Neural change is when there's permanent change. Over time, it may start leaving, especially with aging, or there's interference. But how will you know? You'll see a change in that child's behavior. You'll just see it. And if you don't, you contact the counselor, you contact the parents, you move ahead if you see there is a problem with a particular child. The benefits for the teachers, again, the benefits for parents, benefits for administrators. When you do this downloadable, your 12 lessons, it's all going to be in there. What's included in the program, I went over here. The pricing is all in the packet when you download it. And what we did, because it's all first coming out, we're giving a pre-publication discount to all of you. So contact me by May 15th. And no matter what you order, you'll get an additional 10% off. Here's the number. Here's our email. If you have any questions about any of it, or even if you're working with a different program, call me. As I said, I've been doing this my whole life. That's it. That's where we're at. Wow.
Wow, you are amazing to finish up with like 30 seconds left.
We have 30 seconds. Okay, we did it.
And thank you. Thank you so much. And what I'll do for all the people that logged on, I will send them your contact information.
Okay, you know what, Cindy, you know what I forgot? For them to download this, so they have to go to stronglearning.com.
Okay.
Go there, and you'll see right along the band, right along the high part of the top part, it says SEL, S-E-L. Click on SEL, and right there you'll get to the page, and it's going to say, click here to download your packet.
Okay.
And then you get 34 pages.
Oh, yes, you do. Okay, I see it now. Actually, it says 40, so.
40 pages, whoa.
40 pages.
Oh, that's why we're so tired writing this. Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And we will stay in touch. And thank you, Dr. Linda. And we're going to try and twist Dr. Silbert and Dr. Silbert's arm, Alvin, sit down, Silbert, to join us at Iona on the 11th. And I encourage all of you, if you haven't signed up, please join us for our end of the year celebration at Iona College. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And
thank you
have
so
a great
much.
week.
Thank you. Take care.